This is a foundation inspection. I'm on the left-hand elevation, and you can see that the actual grading, the ground, the grass, actually comes up and touches the brickwork. That's not a good thing because the veneer, the brick veneer, is porous and it'll allow water through. We're on the rear elevation at the moment, and we've still got a little bit of the grading touching the brickwork here. What we like to see is a gap between the brickwork and the foundation and the ground of about 4 inches. So here's where the bricks start, and we want to see the grass about another 4 inches below it. I'm at the rear elevation at the right hand side. The porch is there, and there's a couple of cracks in the foundation here. Nothing unusual that. Most foundations have cracks in them, but they're there. Yeah, we're at the rear right of the foundation. Got another crack in the foundation here. I'm now on the right side elevation. There's a crack in the foundation there. Now we're at the front right of the elevation of the house, front right elevation. We're at the front left elevation, and there's a crack in the foundation here. Porch is there, front porch. Here we are, we've got a crack here. Grading inspection. We've got a slope away here from the building, which is good. Slopes away at the front of the house. Again, that's good. Let's go and look at the rear elevation of the property. We're standing at the right elevation. It doesn't drain quite as well here. We've not got a slope away, but I have to tell you that this is as is conditioned in this part of the world. The buildings around here were built like this. Little or nothing that can be done about them, and any house you buy around here will be in the same position. Now going to the rear elevation of the property. Now you have a number of very large trees in the backyard. Very nice to have large trees, but they can actually cause foundation problems. This tree here at the left of the house, from the left outside elevation, that's going to be removing a lot of moisture from the soil, and so when you're living here you want to spend quite a bit of time making sure the ground around the foundation is moist. That will prevent the moisture being drawn out or replace the moisture drawn out by the trees. So we shouldn't see trees of this side more than less than 30 feet away from the building. This is a roof inspection. There's a vent. Over here we have a turbine, wind turbine, and small issue, it hasn't been nailed in position here. Okay, there should be some nails driven through there and then corked. I've walked the entire roof. It's in very good condition. I can't say it's new, I can't tell you anything like that. It's very difficult to guess a house, but the builder or the contractor will be able to tell you that. This is the chimney. The issue with the chimney is that it doesn't have a cap on it, okay? Now what that means is any rain coming, okay, is going to go straight down into the chimney. And so it should have a chimney cap. That cap will protect it and shield it from the rain and reduce the amount of water that goes into the fireplace, which is below. In addition to a chimney cap, it should have a spark screen on it, a spark arrestor. And a spark arrestor is actually used to reduce the amount of sparks that come out of the chimney at any time. And that's a pretty constant requirement, because in the summer, if there was a fire, you did light a fire and sparks come out, even in the winter and there's a drought, you could actually have a fire. So I recommend that you have a chimney cap installed on the chimney. The chimney breast itself is in good condition. The flashing on the apron at the front is okay. There's been prior repairs to the actual flashing, but to all intents and purposes, what I can see, the step flashing's there. It's in good order. This is a chimney cap, and this basically prevents debris building up at the back here. I'm standing in the attic now. We're just looking at the condition of the attic itself. There's a considerable amount of insulation missing from the area over the back here, part of which is over the bedroom, so there's no insulation whatsoever. Missing insulation down here, quite a lot, so it's not going to be very energy efficient. I recommend that you get insulation blown in to all of these areas here. Looking down the back of the attic, need to turn this light out. I might be able to see a bit more with my torch. Looking down the back of the attic here, there's insulation missing again. It's well worth having that put in, because it's going to save you a heck of a lot in energy costs. There's an old asbestos pipe left lying in the attic that obviously had asbestos in it. Asbestos was in use up until about 1962. That needs to be removed. You don't want that left in there. It needs to be removed by an asbestos qualified contractor. Now I'm not going to go any further down into the attic. I'm not going to go off the safety boards, because it's very difficult to move around in an attic like this. The ducting, so at the front left elevation, what I'm looking for are cracks in the walls. And there's evidence of a recent crack here, you can see, and existing crack running down there. It's very common. The expansive soils in this part of the world lead to cracks in the foundation, and this one has been repaired. You should ask whether or not it's had any foundation work. Here we are at the window. Now we've got a slight crack here, slight crack there, and we're going to move around and see what else we've got. Here we are at the right elevation. There's a pre-existing crack running down the wall here to the foundation. And there's another crack running down there. It's called differential settlement. It's very common because the soils move in different ways around the house, and that leads to cracks in the walls. And here's a prior repair here, which has been repaired, I would say, quite recently, because the mortar itself is light in colour. We're now at the rear elevation. I'm now moving to the left hand side elevation, and there's a previous repair here in this area, and a previous repair around the window here. So I can tell you that this foundation has been repaired, I would imagine, recently, and the walls have been repointed. My conclusion is that on the day of the inspection the foundation is doing its work. There are no cracks other than cosmetic cracks in the brickwork now. It's good to go. This is the wall inspection. So we've looked at the foundation, we've looked at the roof, all looks good. Now what we're looking at is whether there's issues with the wall system that could give us problems in the future. And the first thing we're going to be looking at is areas like here. So you can see here we've got the soffit board has come down beneath the actual fascia board, and that needs to be corrected. This is the water heater. We're in the attic, and it's difficult to give you any idea of the age of the machine. It's getting on a bit. You can see inside that we've got issues up here, bits of rust inside here and around this area. Not uncommon because it's quite a hostile environment a water heater lives in. The piping's good. The piping's good to it. But I would say it's probably near the end of its safe working life. We're going to try and light the device in a minute if I've got gas, but I'm not sure that we have. Damage to the water heater body here. Water stains running down from the temperature pressure relief valve there. The temperature pressure relief valve works, but I would say the water heater is probably coming to the end of its safe working life. Now, since it's in an attic, I highly recommend that you replace it.